here's a quick update on the weather here, MeteoMark for April 15, 2013. Let's get right into the pictures here. We got Kyle Kingoff here, sending in some thunderstorms from last week. I believe these were either Thursday or Friday. And we have probably Friday or Thursday here, because I think that's when Cleveland was getting hit. This is Cleveland, Ohio. You can see the sky looking very overcast, looking very kind of that sickly color the sky gets before a thunderstorm. And then here he has some rain ponding outside in his yard here, it looks like, and there was probably some flooding around portions of the area. So that was with last week's storm. We're getting into this week's storm. It seems like very much like a broken record, only slightly stronger this time, and I'm going to explain why. Let's take a look at some of Lenny Mandela photos here. And here we've got some pictures of some really nice skies and some lightning. I'm going to shuffle through these pictures. This is out of New Jersey. You can see portions of, look at how good the sky was during this storm. Look at these cloud formations. You got lightning in portions of these. And lightning is very hard to get, so you don't always get a great shot when you're doing lightning, because it's very quick. Very, very quick like this. But here's the thing. These photos did paint a good picture of exactly what happened last week, even on the East Coast last week, with some of the thunderstorms that moved through the Mid-Atlantic. And very nice job here, Lenny. Thanks for sending those in. And that was April 10th, I believe. And very good cloud formations here. Thanks, Lenny. And I'll encourage you to send your photos and videos in. Sending these photos and videos in really gives us a reputation of what's exactly going on in certain portions, your neck of the woods, in the part of the country. And there we go. So we're going to get right into precipitation amounts here. This is my precipitation map for about 48 hours here, heading through about late afternoon, early evening Wednesday. And most of the precipitation will be across portions of the eastern plains here, heading on up into the Great Lakes, Chicago, Detroit. Michigan does not need any more rain, and it looks like portions of northern Indiana and extending down towards Illinois. This is where we could really get into significant rain totals here on the order of inches. We're talking 3, maybe 5 inches in some areas. So not very good news, and that heavy rain will extend down towards the lower Mississippi River Valley, especially down here the southern plains, eastern Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, most of Missouri, and extending over towards southeastern Iowa. So that's what we're going to be looking at for heavy rainfall potential. Lighter rains as we get towards the northeast with that stationary front that kind of meanders back and forth, similar to last week's stationary front. So we're looking at a very similar pattern here in the northwest. That's where we're going to be looking at some systems moving in with some rain as well. So let's get right into the actual scenario with the severe weather. We're going to get right into the severe weather. This is Tuesday. Tuesday we'll have more of a widespread, slight severe weather event extending from portions of the Ohio River Valley and down towards portions of the southern plains. Looks fairly widespread, and the front, what it's trying to do here is trying to consolidate a lot of its energy here for Wednesday. This is where the Severe Storms Forecast Center puts a moderate, and this is not used very often, but a moderate risk of severe thunderstorms, particularly eastern Kansas, eastern Oklahoma, extending up towards parts of Missouri. This is where things could become quite a problem with damaging winds, severe weather, but a high likelihood of tornadoes as well, as a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere with this storm as it rides off the eastern end of this trough. And I'll show you the jet stream here shortly. And this system Thursday progresses its way more towards the east. We're getting into portions of Kentucky, Nashville, Tennessee by Thursday, and extending down towards portions of Mississippi and Alabama and possibly New Orleans here. We're going to extend some severe weather up as far north as Indiana and portions of Illinois as well. And then Friday we're going to extend that system. Of course, we'll have that stationary front across the north here producing heavy rain, but Friday we get into some severe weather across portions of the Mid-Atlantic here, southern Pennsylvania. We could be looking at Pittsburgh to Harrisburg corridor here, over to Philadelphia, southern New Jersey, down towards Washington, D.C., Baltimore, up towards, and I mentioned Pittsburgh. We're heading over towards Morgantown, West Virginia, and extending down towards portions of Roanoke and back towards some of these areas towards Richmond. These areas could get in on some of the severe weather. So look for that for Friday. So the moral of the story here is from Tuesday to Friday we're progressing eastward with the severe weather and the heavy rains, and that's pretty much similar to what happened last week. Now let me show you the big picture map. This is how it's going to play out here. Let me stand off the screen here. Out west there you can see we have the trough developing here, very good well trough that's wounding up, and along the base of this trough this is where we're going to get the energy for this low pressure system to spin up, and it's going to move off towards the northeast very slowly during the next several days, very painfully. In some areas we'll get some flooding. But it's on the back side of the system here that we could see 6 to 12 inch widespread amounts from northern Colorado, southeastern Wyoming, up towards northwestern Nebraska for that matter. The Dakotas and extending up towards parts of Minnesota could be getting on this. In some of these areas over towards just east of Casper, Wyoming, heading just north of Denver, this is where we could be getting into some of the 12 to 18 inch snowfall amounts. So look for that in portions of that neck of the woods. And here extending back towards the east, this is where we've got a good deal of more stratiform rain, scattered showers. But then in Michigan, we really get a lot of overrunning precipitation north of the warm front, and that's where we're going to see some flooding problems as well. So look for that in the jet stream. We'll keep this system moving to the northeast, very similar to last week's system. So that's what we're looking at for most of the system. And across the south here we're going to get into those general thunderstorms, and as the front presses southward then conditions will become severe, and it won't be till probably this weekend the system will sweep off the coast. Let's get into temperatures. We're looking at temperature wise across the country. This is where we get the baroclinic zone here across the central and northern plains. We put these maps into motion from Tuesday through Friday this week. We're going to get into a big temperature contrast once again across the northern tier states with lots of 30s and 40s here to the north, even some 20s across the northern plains. And right where that front is, a band of 50s, and then we're going to get into 60s, 70s, and quickly into the 80s here across the mid to southern plains, and then extending eastward we could be cracking 80 in places in Virginia as well, and possibly the mid to upper 70s in Washington, D.C. by about the time of mid to latter portion of the week. Most likely Thursday will be the warmest day for the upper Ohio Valley and extending on into the northeast, where many areas could be cracking 75 to 80 from mid to central Ohio over to Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, and extending down towards Virginia. So that's a look at the temperatures Tuesday through Friday. Right now, we're going to continue to watch the area in the United States for severe weather from Tuesday through Friday as well. And for heading on into the weekend, that's when things will really start to cool down, but not as bad as they did the previous session this past weekend when we had that cold front move through. So that's a look at the weather for the lower 48. Other than that, not too much else is going on. I will have a preliminary look at my hurricane outlook as well as my late spring to early summer outlook, as what it means to temperatures, as well as hurricanes, which hurricane season here will start June 1st. So that's not too far away. Other than that, like me on Facebook at MeteoMark. Here, subscribe to me on YouTube at MeteoMark.com. Don't forget to visit my website, especially if you're local, at MeteoMark.com. And here's a 4-day forecast for my hometown viewers from Binghamton to Elmira and the northern tier counties of Pennsylvania. Here we're looking at for the day on Tuesday. We're going to continue with those mostly cloudy conditions, scattered showers developing, especially afternoon here. We'll get into a steadier, heavier rain towards 8 or 9 p.m. Thunderstorms, some embedded thunderstorms, but we're not talking about anything severe here. We're going to extend on into Wednesday here. Wednesday and Thursday we're going to be mostly cloudy, maybe some few peaks of sun on Thursday, but its temperatures are going to be fairly about upper 50s to lower 60s. Some areas in some of the warmer valleys will manage to get up to the mid 60s in the Susquehanna River Valley here, and most of those warmer readings will be closer to Scranton. We're going to look for Friday. That's where the day where the rain and thunderstorms move in. The most heaviest precipitation will move in, and previously last week's storm we did have some of the rivers and creeks rise to bankfill. So we're going to be looking at the possibility of that happening again, but no major flooding is in store for the southern tier of New York. Overnight lows will be fairly uniform through the period, with overnight lows mostly generally in the 40s. It's not till the end of the forecast period where we get lows towards near 50. That's going to do it for MeteoMark.